I got that. She was starting to wear me with her skills on that forklift for a little bit. It was rocking back and forth and teeter-tottering, and I just spent my $13,000, so I got a little scared, but they got the job done. They got it on the trailer. So long as it's on there, it's all good. Don't matter how it was done. If I wasn't there, I would have never saw it, but definitely happy to get on this Jet Blaster and get out here and rip on it. Don't like the color that much, but man, I think it grows on me. I'll get used to it. They need to hire me to make them some better colors. Ooh, they got me a little nervous. Picked up the new blaster. Looking at all the parts we can fix and make better. I already got a ton of ideas that we already had written down, but we can make them better now. We'll see it. But I like what I see so far. Definitely love it. But I say we love it in the water, but they did a good job compared to the old blaster. The old one sucked. I don't think this one's gonna suck. As you can see, the new blaster looks great here. It looks like they took a Sea-Doo Spark and went home and copied it for homework. But hey, sometimes you got to do it when you're in second place. But they did a great job. I like the new hull at the bottoms, a little bit more durable than the old one, but still looks sleek. The top, they hit a home run with the top. Looks great. There's not much storage space on here. We'll get into that later. But overall, looking sleek and maneuverability, I like it a lot. The new handlebars is nice, but I really like this dash because it's up to date and it's color screen. You can get to all the features, and it looks really good in the daytime. The Trixx is still on that old digital analog. They need to update that. Maybe get the old RXPX screens off of it, but the mats look good. Everything looks great. There's not much to complain about on it. I got the 3-up because I did not like that little seat, and the only thing that's different between a 2-up and a 3-up is the seat. All right, we're going through some chop. I can tell you that the Jet Blaster is better in the chop than the Spark. I can definitely tell the difference between the hulls. On the Spark, this is real uncomfortable, going 40, but here it's not so bad. It feels almost like a Yamaha VX. But I'll tell you what, you get a hell of a lot wetter on the Yamaha than you do on the Trixx. It's a wet ass ride. You got nothing in front of you to protect you from the water splashing out from the weights. On the Sparks, it kind of plows it out to the side and it doesn't hit you. My knees and my nuts are super wet. We're rolling up to the tester spot. You can see the water's a lot smoother. So we can do a top speed run, even though I'm not fully broke in. But when I was crossing the chop, man, I saw 54. I like that already, so check one for the Jet Blaster right out the gate versus the Spark. Before I broke that in, it was like 47, 48. But we brought the 120 horsepower out here. So this is 110 out the box. So it's gonna be a fair fight out here, and we'll see which one wins the drag race. I kind of got my money on the Spark because that Spark is pretty quick out the hole, but we'll see if the Jet Blaster can catch up. But we're just going to do some overall riding around, test out the handling. I know how my Spark feels. We'll follow each other around and get to know the Jet Blaster and see if it handles it just as good as the Spark, because the Spark is like a Porsche, you know, like a Porsche Cayman. Not fast, but man, it handles on rails and it's fun to sling around. This one handled real good going through the chop. Did it good, but man, you get super wet. If you look over there at the Spark, it kind of has a shield from the water. The water comes up over the top of the Jet Blaster, man, it gets all over you. So if you're the type that like to get wet, the Spark for the win on that one. But let's go ahead and get some riding in. As you see here, I'm following the Spark around, having a great time. I'm about to test out the maneuverability of the Jet Blaster. I think the Spark
has it beat because the Jet Blaster feels a little bit heavier in the turns. I'm making a hard left-hand turn here before I go back right, and I can feel it. It's definitely better with the handling than the Trixx, but the Trixx is a little bit better than me because it feels more fun. It breaks loose, gets in loose in the corners, and it feels a lot better. But I'm about to slow down because I saw the Trixx slow down right here. Let's see what happens.
All right, we got to delay the test. The spark, the spark had a bad battery, so it cut off on us. So we're towing it back to swap the battery out.
All right, we're back out on the water, doing a full speed test run here, and we balls to the wall, throttle all the way back, 54 miles per hour out the box. It's really respectable. On the GPS, I was looking at 53.6. So in my book, that's 54 miles per hour. The dash is pretty accurate. And gotta love the Jet Blaster for that, because if you modify it, maybe we can get 60. All right, we're going back into some hard turning. We'll whip this baby around. So the power slide is like the Trixx, but it doesn't come all the way around because this bad boy is a little bit heavier. So I gotta get used to it, sling it a little bit harder, pick up a little bit more speed. All right, we're out here cruising. I went back and got my 2018 modified Trixx, cruising at about 53, 54 miles per hour. It's pretty respectable. So the Jet Blaster is OEM right out the box, and I'm losing my concentration because I'm watching my partner get his hump on in practice. He must have a hot day tonight. But cruising at 53, 54 miles per hour is pretty damn good right out the box for a Jet Blaster or a modded Trixx, so it's a wash there. As you can see, we're cruising down the river again, and you can see that bright LED display that the Trixx doesn't have. I do like that a whole lot. Going 54 miles per hour right out the box. I do love this part about the Jet Blaster, and it is a better ride. You never feel like you're on the bucket Bronco. So Jet Blaster for the win here, fresh out the box over a Trixx, because you need to invest about $1,000 to get a Trixx to win this. As you can see here, the Trixx is a lot more playful, even at a lower speed. The hull breaks loose easy, it goes right into the power slide. It's not even trying that hard, flips it back around. It's really a lot more maneuverable than the Jet Blaster, but the Jet Blaster is a little bit more stable. As you see, my guy Cuba fell right off, but that's the fun. The overall riding position of the Trixx is a lot better than the Jet Blaster. It feels a lot more maneuverable. It's like comparing a Porsche Cayman to a Corvette. You know, the Cayman's going to be a lot quicker and a lot more agile, but the Corvette is going to have the top end speed and still be able to handle and be agile, but just not as quick as the Cayman. That's the best description I can give you of a Trixx versus a Jet Blaster. And we're just trying to show some of the maneuverability here, and the Spark does it effortlessly. And no problem. The Jet Blaster is really precise, but it's almost so precise that it's not any fun. But it's a lot better than the previous Jet Blaster, so there's nothing to complain about. As you'll see when we go into this video when I'm down here in Florida, I'll be able to put it through its paces and show you a lot more of the maneuverability of the Jet Blaster overall versus the Trixx. The Trixx isn't bad. I still think the Trixx is #1 in the department, but the Jet Blaster is right on its ass, and I like what I'm getting from the Jet Blaster. Cuba's just out here having a little bit of fun. We're not trying to be the best at it. We're just making a review video just to show you the characteristics of a Trixx versus the Jet Blaster. And now, once this video is coming to a close here, and for the Trixx, we're gonna go down to Florida and bring up the Jet Blaster so you can see that. All right, here I am on the Jet Blaster. We're still in Texas, but as you see, I got it up on a tail stand or a catwalk, whatever you want to call it, and I'm having to work at it to get it back as far as the Trixx. Kind of plowed over, I'm going to jump right back into it, and it comes up a lot easier, but right here, man, I'm working. You can feel that extra 100 pounds, and you use the throttle to get it back to its balance point a little bit more, and then it starts rocking. Seat time will fix anything and get you used to it, but man, this is a close second place, and the only second place towards the Trixx, but it feels great. And this feels like a more well put together machine than the Trixx. It's overall better quality, and it's faster, and I do like the fact that it has a real hull because it takes the chop a lot better. But it's definitely a fun ski. It's a little bit heavier, but it's not that much heavier. But I would say I compare it to riding a 125 versus a 250 or 450 dirt bike. And as you see, I put the trim all the way up. You can get the dragon's tail. You don't really get that on the Trixx. If the Trixx had the range of the Yamaha, man, it would do a backflip. And the Yamaha has that power. The Trixx puts up a nice little spray like that, but it's not quite as good as what I'd see off the Yamaha Blaster. So they did a good job fixing it up. I'm gonna whip it out just so you can see it. Nobody really rides around like this, but it's cool to look at. I'm gonna show you a little bit more of that range on the trim. It's fun to look at as usual, but I'm gonna swing it around here and bring it into a 180 and try to bring it straight up to a tail stand, just articulating the trim and going straight up from the 180. So I'm gonna do it all by hand. And here we are about to go into the 180. And straight up into the tail stand. And I'm switching it back. I'm having to muscle it back to keep it into the tail stand. Now we're gonna go into the Jet Blaster, riding two people and showing the maneuverability. Man, this is where it really shines. If you do this on a Trixx, if you're not really used to it, you're going in the water. But it's very stable for a small wreck light craft. And as you see, Cuba here with his girl, whipping it around, having a good time. It's very stable. It makes very sharp turns. It handles as if one person is on it, even though you got two. It's not tippy like a Trixx, so win one here for the Blaster. It does very well in this category. All right, what I'm showing here is the speed of the Jet Blaster. I'm here on my 325 Sea-Doo, and you can see the dash, so we know we're not bull driving you on the 54 miles per hour. I'm gradually speeding up, and there's two people on this, not one, and it goes 53, 54 miles per hour, no problem. He's speeding up here. I'm catching up to him, and I'm going to pan down to the gauge to show you we are going 54, 55 miles per hour, and I am not passing him. So that's really, really good speed out the box for a Jet Blaster compared to a Spark, where if you put two people on it, you might go 45 miles per hour. All right, now we're down in Destin, Florida, on the water out here with the beautiful scenery, and we're gonna put this thing through its paces, and I'm gonna talk you through it. And I didn't edit anything to try to show you just the cool stuff. I showed you some of the stuff here that we have a problem with on the Jet Blaster, and it takes a lot of seat time and practice to get it over with. So as you see, I'm going up in the tail stand, moving it around, and I'm moving back and forth, looking like I'm making love to it because I'm trying to pull it back, and it doesn't stay up as well as the Trixx. And we're gonna put it into a turn to spin around, and then I'll go into a corkscrew move that I do easily on the Trixx, and it almost will get out of control. But with the Jet Blaster, it's kind of a little bit more in control, and because it's heavy, it doesn't get out of hand. We're back up into the tail stand, and it's a lot higher than the old Jet Blaster. Not just plowing through, you can get it up, but once you get here, you will feel tension on your arms from the extra weight and have to manipulate your body to make it easier. You're gonna have to do that on the Spark, but man, the Spark just dives up right into your hand, and we're gonna go right here to try to do the 180. And the 180, it works really good, but the Spark would have slid probably about 10, 15 feet further. This one just kind of digs in. And you see I whipped it around right here. It's pretty fun, but more seat time, you can get better at the sliding. But this is about 3 weeks of me with the Blaster, and I'd rather give it a fair review than ride it 2 or 3 hours and do a review like some of these other guys rushing to YouTube. So I'm having a good time whipping it around. You get used to it, but man, it really takes a bit out of you versus the Spark, and the Spark's gonna slide a little bit further. As you see right there, I could not get it to slide when I went in for the power slide, even though I was going about 25 miles an hour. The hull wants to dig in and grab versus the Spark will slide every time. So that's not really a minus. It's just a different type of ride, and it takes a different type of skill and ability to be able to maneuver this thing the way you want to. And if If you go faster, you can go ahead and power slide a little bit further, but you might get the hucklebuck and reach around if you do it going about 45 miles per hour. That happened to me. And if you do it about going about 45 miles per hour on a Trixx, it's going to slide and not really hucklebuck you off if you commit and stay in it. But this one, even though you're sliding, at some point when you slow down to about 25 miles an hour, it hucklebucks you off into the water. So this shows all the maneuverability and everything with the Jet Blaster versus the Trixx. And it's not really that much worse. It's not better than a Spark, but I definitely like the Jet Blaster's overall maneuverability and agility, but it's just not quite the fun of a Trixx as far as the looseness, because sometimes loose is good when you're trying to have fun on the water when you can't go fast. But the Jet Blaster does everything well. It just doesn't play around great like the Spark does, but it's not bad at all. I would say it's an 8 out of a 10 versus the Spark being a 10 out of 10. When we go into this next part of the video, I actually have the GoPro on my shoulder, and I'll be able to talk you through what's going on while I'm riding the Jet Blaster, and you'll kind of get a better idea of what I'm doing versus and actually see it from a kind of like a first-person perspective, and I'll talk you through everything.
All right, we're out on the Jet Blaster. Let's rip and have some fun.
And now we're in the first-person view. The GoPro on my shoulder, and I'm just showing you I'm out on another body of water, and it's still going 54, 55 miles per hour, no problem. Every now and then I can bump that 55, but this thing boogies for a red light right out of the bottom.
Spark definitely wheelies, water wheelies, a lot easier because it's 100 pounds lighter, a little bit shorter, pops right up. This, you definitely got to yank on it, and the balance point is kind of off, so you get up to close to 11 o'clock, it starts to rock and tip. It's hard to get it to where you really want it. See, it's kind of straining because it's heavy. On a Spark, I wouldn't need this much throttle. I'm leaning back, I'm yanking on the bars, and now it's starting to rise back to the balance point, and we're starting to tip over. I caught it, but right about here is the balance point. But on the Spark, it's real steady. I can get a lot higher than that. You can get almost a 12. Then it kind of just mows through the water. The Spark will pick up speed. It doesn't just kind of plow through. So win for the Spark, but this Jet Blaster is better than the older one. Let's turn around to a 360. Back over on me, it's kind of heavy. Let's get it go. Let's get it back. So it's bouncing back up. Spark is way easier. My arms is working. So for the wheelies, I get out to the Spark, but the Jet Blaster is definitely a close second, and the only second because they're the only ones that do it, but it's better than the previous gen, and I think it'll make a Jet Blaster owner happy. You just got to work with it. It's just a lot easier on the Spark versus the Jet Blaster, so it's not a big deal. There's other things that the Jet Blaster does better than the Spark, so you got to live with what you can get from each one.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this review up. So you guys know I'm pro Sea-Doo, and I spent my own money on this Yamaha. I'm not sponsored, I'm not paid to give an awesome review or a bad review. I'm giving my own unbiased opinion because I'm an expert and I'm a shop and I want to make parts for both of them. But the winner is the Spark. It's still the undisputed wreck light king. It costs less money. The Jet Blaster is put together better, holds more gas, goes faster out the box, a little bit more comfortable and a better sound system. But you know what? It's $2,000 to $3,000 more by the time you walk out the door. So you get what you pay for. the Spark, I think you get a little bit more than what you pay for at the price point. So there's no bad deal here. Both of them are winners. I'm still pro Sea-Doo, but I'm really in love with the Jet Blaster and how it performs, and I'll be able to keep one in my fleet. Peace.